Hey everyone, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about grapevine wood, sometimes known as grapewood. So I have recently talked about many different types of natural additives that you can add to your aquarium. I have covered Mopani driftwood, Malaysian driftwood, choya wood, spider wood, as well as some other things like Indian almond leaves, lava rock, and alder cones. Now, I have talked about the benefits and why they're all a very good thing to add to your aquarium, and why I personally like to use them myself. But one thing I have never really done is talk about things that you can add to your aquarium that I don't think you should use. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We are going to be talking about grapevine wood, or sometimes referred to just as grapewood. This is basically just a sandblasted branch. They're from old vineyards. They will all look pretty much the same, and you will find these in pet stores a lot of times with all of the other wood. So that would lead you to believe that it is just as popular in your aquarium, but that actually isn't true. Now, this one is very, very good for reptiles, which will use some of the other aquarium woods. So that kind of makes sense as to why they're sold there. However, a lot of people will actually go ahead and put this in their aquarium because it is very, very marketed with all of the fish wood, and so it can kind of be a little bit misleading. A lot of people don't have long-term success with it. So with that being said, let's get into the details as to why. Now, for starters, this wood is a softwood. And while some softwoods work really well in your aquarium, such as choya wood, this one just doesn't last nearly as long. Now, choya wood, I'm not going to get too much into it because I have a separate video on that, but shrimp love to eat the biofilm that it produces as it decomposes. Now, unfortunately, due to the components of this wood, it is going to break down even faster than choya wood, and because it is such a large piece, your shrimp aren't going to be able to keep up with it. So you are going to have this break down, grow a lot of biofilm, release a lot of stuff into your aquarium water that might not be safe for your fish. Anything in excess is generally not good for your fish. It is going to cloud up the water, it is going to have many growths all over it, and it's going to be really hard to clean. You can actually see right here, there is a part that I cut off. And you may be wondering why I cut that part off, and what these little speckles are, is I just use this in my reptile enclosure. I have a crested gecko, and I put it in a humid environment. And it already started to rot on the bottom. I had to cut that part off. The wood is getting black speckles, almost kind of mold. So I took it out of my crested gecko's enclosure. So if it can't even survive a humid environment, it is not going to last very long in your tank. Many people who have tried this have found that it has just turned very gross very quickly. Now, a lot of times people will buy this wood as well because it is generally cheaper. Sometimes it can be cheaper than some pieces of Malaysian driftwood, but unfortunately, it's not really a deal in this case. It's kind of you get what you pay for, because Malaysian driftwood is going to last you a very, very, very long time. So paying a little bit more for it is worth it. And sometimes they can even be the same price as some other woods like spiderwood or choya wood, and they're going to last you a lot longer. Now, there are two main reasons that people will go ahead and add wood to their aquarium, and the first one will be the release of tannins, and the second one is just appearance. Now, for tannin releasing, this is pretty standard for most softwoods. It will release some tannins into your water, but it won't add too much. Now, this can be a benefit if you don't want too many, but if you're wanting to create a blackwater aquarium like I have, then you're going to have to use a lot more, or even just a different type of wood, because this isn't going to get you that effect. Now, I will admit, this does look pretty cool. I like how it has all of these pieces that kind of come off and they twist. It really does look like a vine. It kind of reminds me of spiderwood in a way, which they are pretty similar as far as the type of wood that they are. However, you are not going to find any big variations like you will in spiderwood. Spiderwood, they are so different. You can find big pieces, small pieces, so many different shapes, styles, everything like that. I only have a few pieces of spiderwood, and they all look drastically different. As far as grapewood or grapevine wood, depending on what you want to call it, they all look pretty much the same. Basically just a light colored wood with a few pieces coming off of it and kind of curling. As far as versatility, this wood isn't really going to have that. However, I will admit, it is a cool looking piece of wood. Some people will actually take these and cut off the smaller pieces to be able to add it into smaller tanks, but that's about as, versatile as you can get with this, is you'll have to modify it in your own way. Now for the last few points, I'm going to straight up admit that, yes, they're very nitpicky, and I know that they're nitpicky, but when I've already decided on the main point that I am not going to get this wood because it just disintegrates too quickly and will make my tank a mess, all the other little points are just kind of like additional reasons that I'm not going to bother with it. Like, I don't want to deal with this because of this. So yes, the next few points are going to be very nitpicky. So if this was a piece of wood I liked, this would not be a determining factor of why I would not recommend it. But in this case, it is. So that first one is that this takes forever to sink. Most softwoods do, but just because of the composition of this wood, is if you try to boil it or leave it sinking for a while, most woods will sink, and this one will sink as well, but it is going to take a very long time. Now this last point has to do with the lack of longevity of it in your aquarium, and that is that you'll have to rescape it quite a bit. If I put a piece of Malaysian driftwood in there, I will not have to touch it for months, maybe even years. And so I won't have to disturb the fish around it, I won't have to disturb the plants, I won't have to do anything like that. However, I will have to do that with this wood because it's going to get gross so quickly that I won't be able to put it in my tank. So I will have to rummage around, change the aquascape, and disturb any plants that are on it, and sometimes even just slight changes in your aquarium can stress your fish out. Some fish love it, but others are really not a fan. So I prefer to not have to move my tank around very often. So those are all the points that I have on grapevine wood. I am not a fan of this wood. I would not put it in my aquarium, especially after my experiences with it in just a humid environment. Now, I hope you found this video helpful. I have only done one bad review in my life, and I'm pretty sure this qualifies as a second one. And so these videos are always weirdly uncomfortable for me to film because I'm always I don't want to talk bad about something, but this is just a piece of wood. So I feel better about it because I'm not directing it at a specific company or store, just a type of wood. And yeah, so if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified when I upload. Give it a thumbs up if you thought it was helpful. And yeah, don't forget to check out that playlist if you want to see some other woods that I actually do recommend in your tank. That's all for today, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye, guys.